26th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. It's currently 10:27 p.m. I'm whispering because if you watched yesterday's report, you will know that I was almost without a voice, and today it's not any better. Now, I'm not sick. For some reason, I just don't have much of a voice, and whispering, for whatever reason, does seem a little better, although it's probably going to be harder for you to tell what I'm saying. So just stop laughing right now, because you're with me on this. We're going to all pretend that we're being spied on by the NSA, and so we have to whisper and become real, true conspiracy theorists, okay? Just play along with me, and we'll all be fine. This ought to be loads of fun, and if the NSA really is listening, they'll have a really hard time understanding what we're saying, so we can just all pretend for a few minutes. I think we've probably got maybe, 15 or 20 minutes here, where I can whisper, and I'll crank up the volume so you can hear it, but no one else can hear it. So, it'll be real interesting to see if this video gets demonetized by YouTube, because they do that based on the audio from the video. They analyze it for their closed caption videos, and they use the information gleaned in those closed caption videos to decide whether or not your video gets monetized or not. So being how I'm whispering, hopefully that will trick their system into realizing that I'm barely talking, and it'll be really hard for them to analyze what I'm saying. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for playing along. Oh, and by the way, the NSA really is listening. We don't really have too much of an earthquake update. I'm looking at the spinning globe right now, and you can see in the West Pacific, there's two huge, very deep earthquakes right near Fiji, where we normally have lots of deep earthquakes. There's two right here staring at us right in the face. You see how far off the globe those are? That is because those are really deep quakes. The further off the globe they are, the deeper they are. And one of these is over 500 kilometers deep. I consider a 200 kilometer deep quake to be a deep quake. And what will happen is that will most likely translate into larger, shallower movement in the next few days in an adjacent silent zone. And right now, we have a huge adjacent silent zone right here across the Solomon Islands and Papua New Guinea. And so if you look at the halfway point between these and these earthquakes right here, you'd be right here in the middle at the Solomon Islands again. We had one just the other day that was a magnitude 6 there as well. So again, shh, we don't want to let the NSA know that we can predict and forecast earthquakes, because if they know, they might turn off my YouTube channel, and we wouldn't want that, because if that happened, all 10 people that watch my videos might get really ticked off. If you're one of the 10, thank you very much. Let's move on to the headlines. I forgot to mention that if you didn't watch last night's earthquake update, you might not know that there were 5 or 6 earthquakes on the map just now as the globe was spinning around that were false readings from a earthquake reporting center in Bahrain, as in a little country in the Middle East. And they falsely reported that there were 5 or 6 earthquakes, anywhere from magnitude 6.5 down to 5.0s there across the Middle East and Africa, and also one near Japan. So those are all still on the map. So don't be concerned if you saw some big rings as the earth was spinning around there just a minute ago. Okay, and now for some headlines. Update. Wall around Obama's DC home is complete. Wow. As Barack Obama waxes eloquent about the supposed negative impacts of walls on humanity, crews have completed the walls surrounding his Washington, D.C. home. How about that? Do you suppose the boys at the NSA realize that Obama has a wall around his new house? dozens dead as gunmen ambush convoy carrying Egyptian Coptic Christians. Gunmen opened fire on 2 buses and a truck carrying Coptic Christians in Minya, Egypt on Friday, killing at least 23 and injuring 25. Jihadis from Indonesia and Malaysia wreak havoc in Philippines amidst ISIS, quote, invasion. Military struggling in battle against guerrillas in besieged city. That's on the Daily Express. UK hospitals told to prepare for further incident in wake of Manchester attack. Memo urges trauma units prepare for patients with blast and ballistic injuries. That's on RT. It sounds like they know something and they're not actually saying. I don't think they're just guessing is what I'm saying. ICE agents ate breakfast before detaining suspected illegal alien restaurant employees. Officers enjoyed waffles, then apprehended undocumented staff. Wow, I wonder how the waffles were. Michael Savage says, if Trump talked to Russia, so what? Doctor quits profession after urging minorities to rape front national voters to create half-breeds. Since right-wing women are part of the recipe for crossbreeding their own pale race, let's use it against her side. Merkel land. Woman shows injuries after being beaten by migrants. Respondents call victim racist for complaining about it. Of course she's racist. She's complaining. You can't do that. You have to let the migrants rape you and kill you, and you may not complain. That is not acceptable. Sometimes I feel like I'm yelling when actually I'm just whispering. It's really weird. Navy SEAL tells crazy Katy Perry to go to hell over terrorism comments. He said, hold one of your concerts in Syria and see how that goes. I think that's absolutely what should happen. She should call her booking agent and have her book Damascus and do a show there and see how that goes over. And then also see what happens when the concert's over. Oh wait, they don't have electricity in Damascus because it's all been blown to smithereens. Here's an article from Joe Biggs. Drag queen brainwashes young children on gender fluidity. Sexualization of children intended to re-engineer society. Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to make everyone monosexual, neither female nor male at all. You're just in between, or you're both. Therefore, you cannot propagate and you cannot continue the human race. Establishment censoring commentary on Manchester bombing. Thought police blocking public debate over terrorism's root causes. DHS chief says if you knew what I knew about terror, you'd never leave the house. Vets boycott USAA for pulling Hannity ads. USAA joins leftist campaign to shut down free speech. Trump budget called, quote, ethnic cleansing. Democrats never miss an opportunity to turn a subject into a race issue. Yes, that's probably the best thing that they know how to do. Journalist detained in England for reading a book about ISIS. Well, at least he didn't whisper when he was talking, because that would be a real problem. If you want to know why I'm whispering, it's because I lost my voice, and when I do try and talk, it doesn't sound very good, so I thought I would try and whisper and get through this report. Hopefully you'll find it somewhat entertaining and can still actually hear it. Philippines. ISIS takes down and beheads the police chief. CIA-controlled ISIS prepares to wreak havoc on the Philippines. It sounds like they already have. And then throw in weather warfare on the Philippines and multiple earthquakes also. The Philippines and Duterte are getting hammered on purpose right now from the military-industrial complex in the deep state. Jupiter isn't like what researchers expected. On first day, Juno mission makes startling revelations. More space stuff. The galaxy's most mysterious star is dimming. Star has begun a steep decline in brightness. Obama running the government in exile. Deep state counters the Trump administration. Clinton cough returns. Hillary hacks amid commencement speech and blames allergies. I'm blaming the allergies for my lack of voice too. So, Hillary, I feel your pain. Sleep deprivation can cause brain to start eating itself. I wonder what happens when you have voice deprivation. Terrorist responsible for Manhattan bombing to be honored at New York City parade. Bomb-making terrorist, who I might add killed 4 people and wounded 20-some. Bomb-making terrorist to march alongside the New York City mayor. I'm not surprised. Former ESPN writer says progressive victimology, silicon values hurting the brand. ESPN turns to politics, which is why people are turning off ESPN. No one wants to hear that. Sports is an escape, not a reason to engage. Watch. Hillary references PizzaGate during commencement speech, slams online trolls and Trump. Do you suppose she mentioned her own role in PizzaGate, how she was also a pedophile and still is a pedophile, and abuses little kids and makes sure that the little kids in Haiti who are there to be taken care of after the major earthquake years ago, how the Clinton Foundation took those little kids and sold them into sex slavery. Do you suppose she mentioned that? Speaking of which, truth tellers unite to fight globalist liberal culture of pedophilia. What's the best way to take down the worldwide pedophilia network? Well, you could start by arresting Hillary Rodham Clinton. Alien organisms created on Earth are killing millions a year. Never before seen medical issues are spreading throughout America. Part of it is what they're spraying on us through geoengineering, or some people call them chemtrails. I don't use that term because that's the conspiracy theorist term, and only conspiracy theorists use the word chemtrails, and only conspiracy theorists whisper. Reporters freak as Texas governor brags about gun accuracy. Governor's joke at gun range triggers reporters. FISA court blasted FBI's apparent disregard for the rules, illegally shared spy data with private contractors. ISIS calls for all-out war on Western infidels at the start of Ramadan and praises Manchester attack in sickening YouTube video. Did you know that the word infidels is not in the Islamic scriptures like the Quran or the Sirah or the Hadith? They call us kafirs, not infidels. Trump has a 4-point diplomatic plan for dealing with North Korea that does not include a military option or a plan to remove crazy Kim Jong-un from power. Trump ends overseas charm offensive in Italy with G7 meeting after lecturing world leaders at NATO summit as he vows North Korean aggression will be solved. You can bet on that. Stop blaming terror on lone wolves. Ferrari urges politicians wake up to wider problem. Way to go, Ferrari. Manchester terror. Immense progress made in inquiry with large part of network held. Yes, but it won't matter because there'll be more people that will still blow up other people. That's what Islam does. ISIS planning month of UK terror attacks starting this weekend. Expert claims. It seems to me like they've already started. Victory. Federal Appeals Court reinstates lawsuit challenging constitutionality of the NSA's mass internet surveillance program, which, by the way, is why I'm whispering right now. I'm probably being surveilled. America's universities have become training camps for violent left-wing extremism. Yes, that's true. This article's from Mike Adams on Natural News. I have real reservations about ever sending my kids to college because that's what's going to happen to them too. Or at least that's what they will be taught. Violent left-wing extremism. And how to be a social justice warrior / cry bully. Snopes takes money from Monsanto to debunk cancer claims. Yes, they do. It's a woman and her cat on the couch, and they have a sex ring that they operate too, and now she's taking money from Monsanto and debunking cancer. Good for her. That's real American ingenuity and know-how. It's very entrepreneurial. Largest sex trafficking bust in U.S. history. Dozens of high-level slave traders indicted. That's on activistpost.com. What they're doing is getting the people low down on the totem pole, and they're gonna go after the people higher up later on. Google is about to start tracking your offline behavior, too. That's on Activist Post. Lone Congresswoman calls out Trump for insane arms deal with human rights violator Saudi Arabia. I think Rand Paul did the same thing, but it's good to see people speaking up against this total idiocy. Did bomber have accomplice outside the Manchester arena? Shock new evidence emerges. At G7, Trump diverts agenda away from climate and toward Islamist terrorism. Thousands drop off food stamp rolls in Georgia after state implements work requirements. Ah, the free handout must be over then. That's on Breitbart. Trump will be impeached. Hillary Clinton returns to her alma mater to launch an all-out attack on the president and his obstruction of justice after breaking out in another coughing fit on stage. Well, at least she has a voice. TV report millions of dead sea creatures wash ashore in Hawaii. Carcasses found along miles of beach. That should trigger some alarm. I don't know what's going on over there. I've never seen anything like this. That's on ENE News. That's what they always say. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know what's going on. Somebody help us. But actually, all of the oceans are totally imploding right now. But you won't hear about it on the nightly news. Michigan Muslim man seeks $100 million from Little Caesars Pizza after eating pork mislabeled as halal. Deep state-controlled ISIS attacks Philippines for prosecuting child sex trafficking. Yes, that's one reason Duterte is being gone after by the military-industrial complex and the deep state. They want to take him out for exposing that stuff. Why do Paul Craig Roberts and Ron Paul fear a Trump assassination? That's from Dave Hodges of the Common Sense Show. Why have all the combat troops been sent out of the U.S.? I wasn't aware that they all were. That's also from Dave Hodges. Okay, here's a story that the NSA will not like, so listen up. Epic. Proof. Giants are coming back. Author and researcher Steve Quayle joins Sheila Zielinski for a riveting discussion on True Legends, Holocaust of Giants. That's a YouTube video, but it's an audio interview with Sheila Zielinski. It's on her show. And Steve Quayle has multiple books out about giants. And if you're not a Christian, or even if you are a Christian, you most likely don't believe in giants or that they ever existed. But I'm telling you, there is so much proof that's been hidden by way of the Vatican and the Smithsonian. It's been covered up and covered over that we're meant to believe that it's just a conspiracy and crazy. But actually, it's true if you really look into it. Go to TrueLegendsTheSeries.com for more information. Devil worshipper Katy sends all her love and kisses and praise to Satan for the Manchester bomb victims. Steve says most celebrities pretend to be atheists, but to get where they are, had to make a deal with the devil to certain degrees. agrees. Not all of the celebrities, but just certain ones. And not everybody in Hollywood. Again, certain ones. But it's the ones who filter to the top that have the relationships with Satan. Study: Manuka honey kills more bacteria than all available antibiotics. That's on healthnutnews.com. Venezuela increases internet censorship and surveillance in crisis. Latin America country going the China route. Yes, that's true. That's on the register.co.uk. The deep state is eliminating all opposition to its power and control. That's from The Common Sense Show and Dave Hodges. New law will send online bullies to jail. Censorship is here. That's on ChristianTruther.com. I guess I should start counting my days, because anybody who dissents or doesn't agree with the common nomenclature out there that everyone else agrees with will be considered an online bully because we don't agree with them. Even though I've never bullied anyone in my entire life, ever. But I have been bullied before. Trump administration notified of imminent threat to U.S. nuclear facilities from wave of catastrophic earthquakes about to start. Is this why everybody's now warning the big one is coming and do the animals know? That's on All News Pipeline. I don't agree with that. I don't think the big one's coming. Not in a natural sense anyway. Maybe a man-made, HARP-generated type of earthquake that could be the big one. Yeah, that could be on its way, I suppose, yes. But we won't know if that's coming. It'll just happen. But when we look at the natural things, pressure moving from place to place, there are always warning signs ahead of time not to worry. Another article from ChristianTruther.com. The takeover. America, this is your wake-up call. Communism is rising in our society. The utter destruction of the moral compass of Americans lays bare the evidence that a takeover is well underway. I totally agree. Okay, I'm sorry about having to whisper the whole time, but if you knew what my voice sounded like, you would probably understand. Anyway, this is the end of the Diamond Report for today. Thanks for listening and watching and for sharing, and hopefully you got a laugh out of this. What I'm talking about is not funny, but I try and make it somewhat entertaining, and I've never heard anybody whisper a 20-some minute program before. I think it's probably a first. I'll catch you tomorrow.